Hi there, my name's Warren and welcome to another episode of the 33 Shape vlog, where today we are looking at post-exercise immunosuppression, aka PEIS. I can hear you saying, post-exa what? Well, the good news is you don't really need to worry about the complicated name. What you do need to know is that PEIS is basically the reason why, despite being super fit, you get ill loads. So if you are ready to kick those race wrecking and training interrupting, annoying, irritating bugs, colds, sniffles, sneezes, flus and whatever, if you're ready to kick them right into touch, the good news is that when you understand a bit about how PEIS works, which is what we're going to be looking at in this show, then you'll discover it's really easy to beat. And we'll be finishing up this show with the top 3 tips that you can use to do just that. Because at 33 Shake, our mission is delivering maximum value to athletes like you and giving you the tools to unlock your best performance. So we do that in these videos by sharing the very latest in training, mindset, tips and tricks for racing, pushing your limits and really optimizing your performance. And we also do it in store at 33shape.com with, frankly, what I would have to say is the world's greatest performance nutrition. And with that shameless plug out of the way, then let's get on with the show. So let's get into the sneezy, wheezy, sniffly, sick note world of post-exercise immunosuppression, known to its friends as PEIS, which nearly sounds like PEIS, but it's not quite. That would be post-immuno-exercise suppression, which is nearly as confusing. But anyway, PEIS, not PIES. You're in the best shape of your life. Why do you keep getting ill? If you do find you're in that situation, the reason is post-exercise immunosuppression. If we look at the general curve around fitness, the harder you train, the fitter you become, the faster you race, the happier you are, the better you sleep. Life is peachy. But doesn't always go this way, because sometimes, despite you being an absolute training god or goddess, you get sick and you get knocked out, and then suddenly you can't train and you feel all achy and you're worried your race is going to go wrong and everything goes, well, instead of peachy, it goes a bit more pear-like, doesn't it? It gets pear-shaped. But you're super fit. How could this possibly happen? Exercise is good for immune function, right? Well, sort of. This is where you trip the line between exercise being good for your immune system and it not being very good. When it's not very good, this is when post-exercise immunosuppression comes in. And basically what it's doing is the training that you're doing is elevating the stress hormones, cortisol and adrenaline in the body. Standard stress reaction. It's exactly the same as the natural reaction to any other stress, whether that is a prehistoric attack by a woolly mammoth, or perhaps in the modern world, I don't know, forgetting your phone. All of these things will cause an increase in heart rate, adrenaline, cortisol, all very good. But what happens when this reaction occurs is that temporarily your immune system can be knocked out, which means that if any bugs or colds do come your way, you're much more likely to get them. Now, this is where the whole matter of post-exercise immunosuppression really applies much more to endurance athletes, because give or take, you need to be training or exercising for more than 2 hours for it to kick in. So marathon runners, half iron and iron distance triathletes, distance cyclists, if your session or your race goes over 2 hours, this is when you're starting to trip the line and PEIS can become a real risk for you. Intensity will also play a part. So if you're regularly above that 8 out of 10 threshold, as in really properly smashing yourself, not the junk miles bit in the middle, not the slow steady aerobic bit down below, but we're talking the absolutely nailing it, eyes bulging out on sticks, the smashing it sort of training. Nothing wrong with that, but if there's a lot of that going on, your immune system is very likely to be having a hard time. So I spoke with a guy called Gareth Evans, who's at the Porsche Human Performance Center. And he said, post-exercise immunosuppression is a genuine problem. He said it's linked to overtraining, and it's made worse by athletes training through it. So, if you're feeling a bit ill and you're thinking, I'm just going to man up and get through this, might not work out that way for you. An early night and a hot drink might be a better idea. The flip side of this, though, is you don't need to be overly worried about it, so much so that you stop yourself training. And this is where I was speaking with another coach, a well-known triathlon coach, a guy called Joe Beer. And he said, if you stop training at the first hint of a sniffle, you'll never reach your full potential. You're not doing triathlon if you don't like a bit of discomfort. It's about pushing yourself and seeing what you're made of. So you want to balance that line. Okay, and it's a tricky one, but if we've learned anything in our years and years of being in endurance sport, racing and training ourselves and working in it, listening to your body is always the best way to go. So if your body's saying, I'm not feeling very good, listen to it, give it a night off. How can you train and avoid post-exercise immunosuppression? The good news is you can. Because first of all, you need to know that not all illness is caused by PEIS. 1 or 2 colds a year is completely natural and completely normal. So if you are getting more than this, though, that's a sign that PEIS may be hitting you. Also, if you are taking longer to recover from colds than other family members who may have them, or friends or anything like that, that's another sign. I'll give you an example from my own training. Years ago, before I knew what PEIS was, and I was doing a lot of ultra marathons at the time, a lot of mileage, and just sort of figured that the whole more and harder was better, and trained through everything. A friend's daughter, who must have been about 3 at the time, she had a bit of a tummy bug, and we'd gone to visit them, my wife and I, then for the weekend, and we'd had a great time. And I had then come home with this child's bug. I realised I'd picked it up the next day. Now, she pretty much laughed it off in 24 hours. I ended up in the local hospital on a drip after a completely uncontrollable bout a night of vomiting and more. I couldn't even get water back in. Anyway, you don't need the gory details. All I'm getting at is clearly there was a massive disconnect there. She shook the bug off in under 24 hours. I end up in hospital. If you're in that sort of disparity with people around you, probably some post-exercise immunosuppression going on. Now, this is not a condition that discriminates between professionals and amateurs. The irony is actually that amateurs are quite a lot more likely to get it, because at the professional level, rest means just that. These guys may train 30, 40 hours a week, but what do they do the rest of the time? They're like your cat or dog. They're asleep or they're eating. That's it. Maybe a massage, maybe a walk. Not so for the rest of us out in amateur world, where frankly a rest day just means a day where you didn't train. You probably still went to work. You probably still took the kids to school. You probably still did 100 errands around the house, ended up painting the bathroom all night, whatever it might be. So age group athletes, amateur athletes don't get the rest that professionals do. Lack of rest means a lack of recovery. Lack of recovery means the immune system can become more run down. So with that in mind, how can you beat post-exercise immunosuppression? Well, look, there are 3 simple ways to do it. And the first way is with nutrition. In short, you need a good, strong, powerful, natural diet. Now, we don't need to get denominational about diets here. It doesn't matter if you're vegan, paleo, carnivore, fruitarian, raw, or really couldn't give a monkeys about any of those. Doesn't matter if it's 5 portions of fruit and veg a day or 6. The point is, eat loads of stuff that's good for you. That means loads of fruit and veg, loads of multicolored things on your plate that are whole foods, not like a bowl of M&Ms won't count. So we want unprocessed foods. We want all of that good, wholesome, natural stuff. Nuts, seeds. Just load up on powerful whole foods. They've got the most nutrients in them. They're the best for you. And so if you want to take this a step further, we come to step 2, which is antioxidants and alkalizers. Now, what you need a lot of these things in you to help improve your immune system function. And if you are there thinking, sounds like a load of old nonsense, well, 10 years ago I would have completely agreed with you as I chowed down another Mars bar and glugged a can of rice pudding in order to increase my calorie intake because I was running a lot. And I wonder why I got sick a lot. The fact is, when your diet is too acidic, and what that would mean if you've got a lot of dairy in there, a lot of processed food, a lot of sugar, a lot of caffeine, a lot of alcohol, all of these things tip your diet into a more acidic area. Well, in that case, the immune system is going to struggle the more acidic the body gets. The more alkaline, as in the opposite to acidic, that the body becomes, the better the immune system is able to function, the stronger it can be. And again, I understood the theory of this. It sort of made sense, but I wasn't buying it until I started doing it. I say this is about 10 years ago. Now, in that time, my health changed dramatically. And ever since, I have trained harder, I have raced harder, and I've basically never been ill again. And I used to be that person who got every single cold going. I also had been a lifelong asthmatic who, no matter how fit I got, required 2 inhalers at least twice a day to keep me breathing normally. Well, what do you know? Since cleaning up my diet, putting in a lot more antioxidants, putting in a lot more alkalizing foods, doing things like that, it all started to change. Clearly, that's anecdotal evidence. I'm a case study of one. If you try it, you find out it doesn't work, then that's all you need to know. But honestly, this stuff really, really makes a difference. You don't need some magic wonder drug. You just need some really, really good food. And at the most powerful end for antioxidants and alkalizers, you're looking at superfoods. And then this is a bit of a buzzword, but frankly, all a superfood means is it's a food with a higher than average content of beneficial nutrients. So we're talking strange things like reishi mushroom, seaweeds and algae like spirulina, seeds like chia seeds, berries like goji berries, incan berries, golden berries, all of that sort of stuff. And it's exactly why we pack our pre and post workout shakes at 33 Shake with these ingredients, because they do so much good for your body and for your performance. But in short, if you're doing nothing else on the diet, just get loads of fruit and veg in. And the next one, your final tip for beating post-exercise immunosuppression is water, and lots of it. You want to keep well hydrated because saliva and mucus in the mouth, in the nose, they are natural barriers against infection getting through, but they don't work very well when you're dehydrated, and they're not there very much. So keep pouring in plenty of water, keep yourself well hydrated, and that will also help improve your immune system. So in conclusion, what do you need to do? Eat a powerful diet packed with whole foods. That's 1. 2, go big on the antioxidants and alkalizers from the most natural, powerful sources you can get them from, and hydrate well with plenty of water. If you keep these 3 in place, and if you also balance it with listening to your body and occasionally giving yourself that night off training and taking that early night, whatever it may be, honestly, those little things, it feels like you're messing up with your training plan at the time, but you're really not, because if you don't listen to your body and you do train through it when it's the wrong time, 9 times out of 10, you're going to end up sick for a week. So you're going to lose a week's training. Instead, lose a night, come back strong, you've only lost 1 day. So with all of those things in place, you are now perfectly primed to say goodbye forever to post-exercise immunosuppression. So enjoy that farewell. And we look forward, I certainly look forward to seeing you on another show here. Thanks very much for joining us for this one. I hope it helps. And if you'd like to connect with all things 33 Shake, you'll find our social media, email, website links in the show notes. And of course, if you would like the finest sports nutrition, if you're running, you're cycling, you're triathlon, or any other sport that you're doing, why not check us out? You'll find us at 33shake.com.